What's up, Internet? I'm Chimera Complex, and I am bad at Homecoming City of Heroes. Now, I think I hit a sweet spot with my sound settings. Just a just quick aside here. I've got very limited access to tools and resources, so I've got a cheap mic and whatever audio filters that are kind of built into the recording software that I use. I can't really clean up the sound very well. There's really no sound processing or production that I can do in post or anything like that. Um, I'm recording in my room, not a studio, and real talk, it's hot as balls in my room. And so I got a couple of fans going that up until now I've had to record without them on. And because the fans were, picking up on the mic, and I don't think they are now. I've done a couple of sound tests to make sure, and I can't hear them at this point. But let me know in the comments if you can. I know that my hearing isn't as refined as some others, so I can make adjustments as needed. At any rate, we're here in Skyway City with Professor Lareaux. We've got ourselves a what we believe to be a cure for the mutations that the Rikti are causing in the Lost. Now, I don't recall if I have to fight them to a certain health percentage before it works. Yeah, we're going to kind of learn as we go at this point. I just got to hunt down some Lost. Now, earlier I was in a different part of Skyway City, um, and I wasn't expecting the levels to be what they were, and so I was in a much higher level area than I should have been, and that almost ended up being disastrous. But we're here in a tamer part of the city, one that I can handle. I just gotta find the appropriate enemy group lurking around. And I've been rewatching my videos, revisiting them, see how they, I always do when I finish recording, I always rewatch it. But you know, when it's fresh off of the press, so to speak, I'm kind of riding a high, like, yeah, I did some work, I completed a thing. So I'm not really watching them with an unbiased perspective. Um, but having gone back and rewatched a few of my videos recently, it occurs to me that there's a lot of dead air. I'm trying to record these kind of like a stream of consciousness type of thing. I don't really have a script, um, and I don't think that having a script is really appropriate for this type of let's play. Um, I'm going to keep talking. There are times when I do need to focus, just so that I don't like mess up and get myself knocked out or something like that. But um, yeah, I'm just working this out, as I go. I'm figuring stuff out. So the dead air, the ums and the uhs, uh, I'm trying to remain conscious of them, but as you may have noticed in my previous videos, it doesn't always work out. So, how hard can it be to find homeless people in part of the city that's essentially a slum? I mean, we were just doing some missions where you couldn't throw a homeless person without hitting another homeless person. Here we go. All right. Cool, that actually worked. So I just gotta do this over and over. Hey, they were twins. But that guy was... I'm just gonna let that one go. Alright, it's working out quite nicely now. Kind of hilarious how, at least for the semi-normal looking ones, this finger quote cure isn't just curing their mutations, but completely changing their clothing and hairstyle, and sometimes even their skin color. But mutations are weird. They can do weird things. Got 7 more to go. Alright, let's give Montague a call. Alrighty, so I gotta go to the building and give the man at the door this code word. Let's hope I can remember it, because I got some traveling to do. I'm going the wrong way. Transit's this way. I do think Skyway City is very pretty. There are a couple of districts that I really enjoy. Skyway City is one of them. We're going to see Talos Island pretty soon. Um, I really like the look of that area. There are some others that I really enjoy, but those are the two that I can name off right now. All right, so we're headed back to Steel Canyon. And there's the university. And this is the clubhouse. Uh, Excello. Here we go. That's the one. All right, I got my Midnight Squad badge. It's going to come in handy. That's going to be important later on in some of the higher level content. Um, there's going to be um, a whole set of story arcs that involve traveling back in time because the Nazis that we met in the previous episode, the fifth column, are trying to affect the outcome of certain events in ancient Rome, and it's a mess, and it's so much fun. Now, another great thing about this is that if you're playing, vanilla on purpose, or if you don't know all of the different means of travel, like with travel powers being what they are in this version of the game, or um, using supergroup base codes as a means of travel. If you want to just do a playthrough like I'm doing right now with very little perks, very little in the way of basically anything other than what the game throws at you from the very beginning and as you level, this can be used as a means of fast travel. So you just like here we're in Steel Canyon. We could go to Croatoa, another zone that's this one's kind of based on like the Fairy Court. It's got a lot of enemy groups that like there's this enemy group called the Red Caps. They basically look like little gnomes. You also meet the Fearbolg there. A lot of Irish kind of mythos in that zone. Founders Falls is another zone that I think is very pretty, but I also find it very annoying because it's just got it's like city blocks surrounded by moats of water. Not quite the same as Venice per se, but navigating it can get a little bit annoying at times, but it's still very pretty. Now, if I was of the appropriate faction, I could, let me see here. I may be mistaken. Let me just double check. Yeah, no, this is just libraries and shit. Da, 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 da. Yeah, so I could use this to travel to a pocket dimension that is faction neutral. And then through that pocket dimension, I could then travel to the villain side of the game. Um, Not going to do that. There's really no need because right now I'm the hero faction, so there's nothing for me to do over there, especially at this level. So I could call Montague, but he's like literally just a few seconds away, so I'm going to go see if he's got anything else for me. Sorry about that. Stay hydrated, folks. All right. That's it from him. So, let's look for a new contact. Doing all we can with these folks. And that's it. I may have to grind out a level before I can have access to a new contact. Um, Let me check one more person here. Yeah, so she's not even going to talk to me till I'm level 20. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to do a couple of radio missions. So we've got three different choices. I'm going to select this choice. Basically, we're going to be beating up some members of a new enemy group, the Council. The Council is similar to the fifth column in that they are, for all intents and purposes, Nazis. There is there are some ideological differences between the two factions. Primarily, the fifth column relies on natural talent and technology. Council does that too, but there's also a supernatural element to the council, and yeah, we're gonna check them out. So we're gonna rescue a dude and beat up some Nazis. what I'm going to try to do is, usually if there's an elevator on a map, um, very rarely will you not find your objective at the very top level of the map. So I almost always take elevators immediately. Now, in the past, that has come back to bite me in the ass. There are rare occasions where your objective is, in fact, not at the top of the map. So it's a real possibility that I could be shooting myself in the foot. But we're going to find out anyway. As far as navigation goes, I've got this kind of like rule where I always stick to the right wall and just kind of do a perimeter and only go upstairs if it's the only option, as is the case right now. Somebody's shooting at me. Here we go. One of the core gameplay loops in the end game when you're level 50 and you're trying to use the end game progression systems, there are a couple of different gameplay loops that you can follow. There's several different options. There's not just one single way to progress your character and that's it. One thing a lot of people will do at level 50 is go to this one sort of endgame zone known as Paragon Island, and they'll just do radio missions over and over and over, specifically selecting the council as the enemy group, like I've done for this mission. Reason for that is different enemy groups will often do different damage types. The council primarily does smashing and lethal damage. It is the damage type that is most easily resisted and defended against. Again, resistance is damage reduction, essentially, and defense is, for all intents and purposes, your ability to completely negate damage. Now, the downside of that is also the most easily resistible by enemy groups as well. However, with a full group doing these types of missions, with the maximum number of enemies at the highest possible level, there's going to be a mixture of damage types, outgoing damage types from the group, and so the council is by far in this scenario the easiest enemy group to just completely steamroll. So we're going to kind of follow this loop a few more times. It looks like I got at least one little bubble down there by my level worth of experience. So, you know, it could take a while. But it can be pretty rewarding because I'm getting experience. I'm getting enhancement rewards, which I can sell or potentially use depending on the type that I get. All right, none of these explicitly state that they're councils, so we're just gonna go with the first one available. Another thing about that gameplay loop that I just described, just doing the council radio missions over and over and over again, is it also serves as a pretty decent power leveling tool. What a lot of players will do is they'll start the group, invite anybody, like on a first come first serve type basis, and a lot of low level characters will join and just kind of hang back, do whatever damage they can, and there's like a sidekick system where the lower level players will be scaled up to the group leaders level, so they're not completely useless in that scenario. But they gain experience as though they were, doing a mission at their own level. So there are multiple benefits to playing the game that way. All right, so it looks like this mission is in fact clockwork enemies. Oh, they found me. All right, so that was the main guy. Now I got to beat up basically everybody in the room. Alrighty. I like the ones where you just gotta beat up either as many, like there are different mission types like this, not just from radios but also from contacts. I like the ones where you either have to beat up all of the enemies in a given map, or one like this where you have to beat up a target. Those usually yield the most experience because you're just in combat constantly. sometimes the escorts, where you have to, like we did earlier, where you have to rescue a civilian, or if you're playing as a villain, kidnap a civilian, but the gameplay is exactly the same either way. Sometimes those missions will send periodic ambushes to you so that you remain in combat. Sometimes they don't. But the ones that have you in combat throughout the entirety of the mission usually have the best experience gains. And I think one or two at the most will be what we need to hit our next level. Excuse me. We've got Hellions, probably the skulls here and the skulls there. I'm going to go with the Hellions. And like the narrative for missions like this, really they're not even all that important. They're not adding to the narrative of the the main story or anything like that. It's just these bad guys are doing a thing. We don't want them to do the thing anymore, so please stop them so they don't do the thing. And it could be argued that all of the missions are like that, but again, the difference is that the radio missions or the newspaper, if you're a villain, they don't really contribute to the greater narrative as a point of fact. Recovering the Dragoon Ball. Again, the Hellions like to steal artifacts for their demon summoning rituals. And who knows? We didn't see it when we first faced them in Atlas Park. We may get to see one of their demon girlfriends in this mission. One thing I did in between episodes was I went to the tailor and I added an aura so that when he's in combat, his eyes kind of glow and crackle with arcane energy. Ooh. There it is. Cool. So we're going to complete this mission. I'm going to go level up. It's just a couple of slots that I can add to one of my powers, or one or more of my powers. And then we're going to look and see what missions we have. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish this up off camera. We'll see you next time.